Actually, I'm actually emotional speaking, but it's very, makes you very grateful for the life, privileged life that we lead.
Hi, we're the Flying Finnies, your favourite travel parents. We're on a journey to reach 60 countries by the time we turn 60, and we only have 6 years to get that done.
India is country number one, and in this video we're going to share with you our Delhi experience. We'll show you the best attractions, what we ate, how we got around, and where we stayed, and the wonderful community in which we lived.
Stick around to the end where we share with you the most enriching travel experience you can have in Delhi.
We're now standing in the forecourt of the Red Fort. The Red Fort is this imposing structure that you can see all the way through Chandni Chowk. It was built in 1638 and it essentially was built when the capital moved from Agra to Delhi. So we've just come through the Lahori Gate through into Red Fort, and we've been first met by this covered bazaar behind me. The concept originated in Pakistan and then it was brought forward into the Mughal Empire.
Another important feature of the Red Fort is that it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
We've now moved down into the general audience area here within the palace, and this is the area that Shah Jahan initially used to greet members of the general public and to listen to any of their concerns.
Would he meet me here?
He would have welcomed you here, but he most probably would have taken a photograph as well.
Things change at the rear of the palace grounds. The Red Fort gives way to the white marble private spaces.
So today isn't a hot day in Delhi. It's a little bit overcast, there's a little bit of heat and mugginess. But coming over here, this white marble, it's so cool to the touch. And I would imagine that even during a hot day here in Delhi, for the Emperor at least, it would have been a pretty comfortable place to be. So we're at a place called Rajghat, and it's an area that I've been really keen to come and have a look at. Not because it's flashy, in fact, if anything, the opposite, but it's actually the memorial to Mahatma Gandhi. And it was in this area in 1948 that Gandhi was cremated. And the memorial's just up here ahead of us.
I loved how this area was not just a memorial, it was being used by local families for picnics and family fun.
Only a short tuk-tuk ride from the Gandhi Memorial was the Qutub Minar. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site dating back to the 13th century, but to gain access, we had to make our way through a very crowded night. It was now late afternoon, and despite the beauty of this mosque, the heat was certainly starting to take its toll.
But I'm too hot and I'm getting grumpy and I feel a bit overwhelmed.
So I will say that I'm feeling a little bit sorry for Tracy at the moment. It's very hot this afternoon, quite humid, and the idea of walking to the top of the minaret most probably isn't her first choice. So she's going to sit this one out, but we can resist that.
So here's an aerial view of me resisting the temptation to climb the minaret.
It's a steep and claustrophobic climb up the 150 steps to the top, but the view, whilst crowded, was sensational.
Next on our list of places to visit is another UNESCO World Heritage Site, Humayun's tomb, and not surprisingly, it is the tomb of Emperor Humayun. This was the first garden tomb on the Indian subcontinent and, interestingly, was the inspiration for the design of the Taj Mahal. So here is my tour guide today for Humayun's tomb, and this is her playground. Let's watch these little short legs, see if they can get up these stairs.
I'm glad that Tracy made it to the top because the view from there was remarkable. A visit to Delhi wouldn't be complete without a wander around the parliamentary area, the presidential palace, and down the Raj Path to India Gate. India Gate is a war memorial, and even though it was a very wet and windy day, it didn't stop people from coming out to pay their respects to fallen soldiers. And as happens, Tracy made another friend along the way.
On our final day in Delhi, we made the wise decision to visit the Lotus Temple. We weren't sure we'd have enough time, so we rushed out there before leaving, and really glad we did this. This is a Baha'i temple, but they welcome people of any faith or no faith to come and pray or meditate and just enjoy the beautiful marble interiors. And as always, a quick stop for chai had Graham making new local friends.
Once we got our heads around it, travelling around Delhi is remarkably easy, and whether it's through walking, taking a tuk-tuk, riding the inexpensive and very handy metro train system, or taking a taxi.
In 300 meters, turn right onto Shri Krishna Das Mark.
Our first experience with Delhi transport was in a taxi from the airport. It took us a while to get our bearings once we arrived, but we eventually found a prepaid taxi stand and managed to negotiate a reasonably okay price. Just another casual walk on the road to the metro station. No danger here. Tuk-tuk's on the opposite side of the road. Oh, crazy chaotic, but it works. So for our first few days in Delhi, we primarily used the very modern and efficient metro system. We purchased the 3-day tourist pass. It was 500 rupees, or around 10 Australian dollars per person, and that gave us unlimited access to the metro system for 3 full days. The metro was brilliant. It was clean, convenient. We never waited more than 2 or 3 minutes for a train, and most importantly, it was air conditioned, so it was a nice little respite from the hot, humid Delhi air.
By far the most convenient way to get around Delhi is by tuk-tuk, but it doesn't come without its challenges.
I'm not sure if walking would be better than this. I'm probably getting just as wet.
Tuk-tuk fares range from around about 2 to 7 Australian dollars, depending on where you're going and just how busy the roads are. Within the congested Delhi traffic, they have a magical way of weaving through the rush.
It's quite amazing how it works.
But everything doesn't always go to plan.
So I am just sitting here in a tuk-tuk, sweating while waiting for Graham, who's just made a new friend, a tuk-tuk driver, who insisted on taking him into a shop nearby so that he could get a voucher for fuel. This is what happens when I leave Graham alone for a few minutes. He has a new friend and we have an obligation, but hopefully we've got a cheap ride to the airport as a result. Let's see how this pans out. And his bag.
I bought a suit.
I'm just going to let you tell this story, Graham. Where are we now?
Not the tuk-tuk anymore.
What happened to your tuk-tuk friend?
Well, what started out as a really good deal ended up being not a very good deal. We'd managed to negotiate our journey to the airport, which was 200 rupees. But part of the stipulation was just a quick stop off at a local store, but unfortunately it turned out to be not a very good deal. And so we ended up having to ditch our tuk-tuk, and we've gone with plan A, which is an Uber.
And Uber works very well in India, we're learning.
Uber works extremely well.
By far our favourite thing about Delhi was the street food. We came with the intention of trying and eating as much street food as we could. There was a little bit of trepidation. We were a bit concerned about the infamous Delhi belly that you hear that people get. We thought we were pretty adventurous. We ate a lot of different street foods from a lot of different places. We followed a couple of common sense rules when choosing street food. We tried to eat the places where we could see lots of locals were and where you could see that they were making and cooking things fresh. Following these rules, we've had some really great, inexpensive food. We haven't been ill at all, and most importantly, we've had some really fantastic interactions with locals.
So we're super excited today because we're just in and around Chandni Chowk. We were here last night, but the food is just too good.
Yeah, this is my breakfast. It's like a crispy, spiced potato, stuffed potato. The outside is like a crispy potato skin. Inside's got some, I think it's like a yellow lentil and some green peas, and there's like a spicy chili sauce all over it. Yummy.
1 dosa and 2 chai.
Close to you, there's nothing else I wanna do. Ooh, from the fields of flowers you chose to pick me. You're spreading sugar on my misery, and I don't fake this kind of feeling, never felt.
How is it?
It's beautiful. This beautiful mix of ginger, cardamom, tea. It's great.
Nagori halwa is made by semolina. So it's come with the potato curry and the veg pudding.
So we might go one of each.
Okay. I'll give it to you 2 pieces of this
Yep.
and 1 piece of this. There's a full form also.
Yeah.
I wanna be with you. Baby, take my hand. Feels so good, so good.
Good. It's an interesting table.
It's the table. It's not exactly level, but we'll get there.
And I I wanna marry you.
When we first arrived in Delhi, we had to wonder, were we taking on too much? As budget travellers, we'd tried to seek out some less expensive accommodation, but when we were dropped off, we could tell that we were well away from all of the known tourist areas. It was rainy, it was dark, we had no internet connection, and we only had a vague idea of where our Airbnb accommodation was. What we came to realise over the coming days was that this was exactly the experience that we had wanted from the beginning. We were staying in and around local people, eating local food, and we made friendships along the way, potentially friendships that are going to endure into the future. In many ways, it validated that travel isn't just about staying in nice or expensive hotels. It's about getting out and experiencing what life is like in a different place. And we certainly had the opportunity to do that. So one of the things we are really enjoying here is just the hospitality of all of the people in this neighbourhood. When we turned up, there were people wanting to help us with directions, getting us sorted out to our Airbnb, which was really helpful. And then we took a bit of a walk on the street last night, just found a local little side cafe.
Oh, street stall, food stall.
Just preparing dal and naan bread. They refused to accept payment for it, and so we had this wonderful dinner last night. It was really nice, fairly basic, but just a really good indication of this area and just, how friendly the people are here.
This is why it was hard to find. There's no signage or anything, so we were wandering these laneways trying to work out where we were. We didn't actually have a proper, very formal address either. So, fortunately someone was walking by and said this was the right place, and it was. Home sweet home. We want to finish this video by talking about the most enriching experience that we had while we were in Delhi. We booked a city walk tour with the Salam Balak Trust. Now, these are tours conducted by children who used to live on the streets of Delhi before being helped by this charitable organisation. It's a bit of an emotional roller coaster taking this tour because you've got the lows of hearing the really sad stories of these children, and they are children that have lived on the streets of Delhi. But then you've got the high of seeing how some of these children have succeeded and the ways in which the trust has helped them get there. The walk went for around 2 hours, and our guide showed us the places that he used to live and work while he was living on the streets.
Everything. It's just like a home, like shelter, security, education, mental health, and medicine, everything. Better than home. Okay? And if you talk about food, the food is delicious.
We highly recommend this tour. It was a great way to be a responsible tourist and provide some funding to a really worthwhile charity. We hope you've enjoyed our Delhi journey. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel.
Time to fly.